What's going on, YouTube? Pleasure here once again, and it is time again to talk about Yunli and her placement in the meta by going over the tier list over on Prydwen. You know, it's actually kind of become somewhat of a fun routine for me, so I actually enjoy doing it. So, and if you enjoy it too, then go ahead and leave a like on the video so I know that you guys are with me on that one there. But it's time to talk about Yunli, and honestly, I'm impressed with her. You know, I actually was gonna skip her because, like, I do, as somebody who wants to create content on all the characters, I do want to get all characters, but sometimes I just can't. You know, it is what it is. But luckily, I was able to pull her in 110 pull. Yes, exactly. I'm lucky beyond reason. It's crazy, actually. And luckily too, I was already a few 10 pulls into the pity for the weapon too. So in honesty, within 50 pulls, within 40 pulls, I was able to get both Yunli and her weapon. So I think I'm in still pretty good shape to, you know, save up for the girl face shot. But that's besides the point. We're here to talk about the meta and the changes to it. And it looks like there's quite a few, so let's get into this here. Of course, Acheron, as a damage dealer, is on top, as she should be, you know. To this day, she still hasn't really been topped. I mean, unless you talk about the specialist over there, Firefly, who situationally does actually beat her out, but that's situational. Acheron is just a monster, and I think that was the right decision to make her that kind of a monster, because, you know, she's an emanator, you know, and I kind of like that dynamic. I like when other emanators come out, they'll fucking raise the bar of meta too. So, you know, that's awesome. But then we have this one right here, Dr. Ratio. Ratio is up. Now, this isn't something that, like, I ever said in any other times I looked at in the meta, because, like, when I just look at Jingliu and Dan Hong, I just think, oh yeah, sure, you know, like they're above, you know. But the fact of the matter is, who I use on my account, I use Ratio much more than I use Jingliu when I don't have Dan Hong IL. So I use him much more because that follow-up team is just phenomenal. And when trying to judge Ratio as an individual, then yeah, I'd say that Jingliu and Dan Hong do beat him out. But when you take the team that he uses into account, then yeah, he is above them because his team is better, right? And if that's the reason why they raise him up, then I agree. But him as an individual, I still believe is below those two. So, you know, it depends how you look at it. So let's see why they moved him up. Dr. Ratio, so from T1 to 0.5, has consistently performed above expectations in many of the MOC, since 2.0, surprising us in the community and often ranking above characters placed firmly above him on the tier list. One of the biggest contributors to this is the continual stream of follow-up archetype supports that have been added to the game. After reviewing the community feedback, our testing and observing the data, we've decided to move Ratio into 0.5 tier in Apex category. And that's it. That's exactly what I thought. So yeah, he's where he belongs, you know. I mean, that does make me question Topaz's placement, but I think Topaz will be moving up soon. I think she'll be moving up real soon. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that, like, I can't say I regret because I couldn't do it, but I wish I was able to get E1 Topaz along with her S1. Topaz is somewhere but we're not talking about Topaz yet. We're talking about Ratio. We'll talk a little bit more about Topaz when we get there. But Ratio, good job, my boy, you know. And now we got, you know, Dan Hong, Jingliu, and Yunli. So let's talk about Yunli, right? Now, Yunli is a character that's pretty good, you know. It's hard for me to compare her to Clara, which is 1.5, and it's hard for me to judge her versus Clara because even though I've seen Clara's performance, I never had her. I just got her on Firefly's banner. On Firefly's banner is when I just got Clara for the first time. I never played her myself, honestly. So when it comes to performance, I can't really compare the two. But from what I've seen, Yunli definitely is a couple steps above her based on how hard she's hitting. Because my Yunli isn't fully built yet. She has her levels and she has her weapon leveled up. She has okay relics, but when it comes to her traces, they're like 5 and 6, level 5 and 6 and such. So, she still has room to grow, and she's been doing pretty good work. I've been getting consistent 3 cycles with the different teams I've been trying her out on, and like her different teams all seem to be performing pretty on par with one another. So she's a flexible unit, and she performs well, and she's fun to play because like she forces you to engage with the combat a little bit more when it comes to timing her ultimate, because it's like you got to time the ultimate right before the enemy is about to attack. So if you're just not paying attention or you're autoing and so on and so forth, her performance is going to fall pretty greatly. So it does take a level of skill and strategy to maximize her, which is fun, which is one of the big reasons why people like playing games, So I think she's a fun character. I love her. Everything that I said in the video prior, whether you should skip her or not, still holds true, because I never doubted her, right? She's performing as well as I thought she would. So that doesn't change the fact of everything that I was saying in that previous video. If you want to know what I was saying in that previous video, go ahead and take a look. But she's great. She's awesome. She's fun. If you want her and you picked her up, rejoice, right? But if you decide to skip and you're waiting for the future, I'm sure you'll be pleased with that decision too. And then there's the lower tiers, of course: Jin Yuan, Sealy, Xing Shui. Hopefully I finished this Sealy video that I'm working on right here. I'm working on a Sealy video, basically her and how she performs nowadays. But they're in their rightful place, I would say. Blade, I'm surprised he didn't at least get a little bit of credit with the Jade coming. Jade doesn't have too great of a placement when it comes to MOC. So I guess that's to be expected. Wait, Himiko moved up? Interesting. Well, she probably moved up because of Jade, I'd say. That makes sense. She does move up because of Jade, but that doesn't put her above. That puts her on par with Blade and everything. So I guess that makes sense. Poor Blade. For a while, I kind of fought against his placement, and I was like, they playing Blade. But after a while, I realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm still judging Blade of how he performed before. But now, when you look at his damage compared to everybody else's, it's just not there. Sealy is like, in the footage that I did for the Sealy video I'm doing, Sealy was putting up some numbers, all right? Sealy could put up some numbers still now, because she's gotten upgrades since the early days. Blade barely got upgrades, Sparkle might be a little bit of an upgrade because she can buff his follow-up attacks, but like a lot of her buffs don't help him out too much. Ron May is good, but like he's a specialized damage dealer, so he needs specialized supports, and he hasn't been getting that. So what can you do? And then everybody else is kind of the same where they were. Yangqing moved down. I thought he was at the bottom before. I don't know how he could move down from the bottom, but I guess he did it. And so now we'll go over to specialists. So specialists, we got Firefly. Firefly, who's honestly my favorite DPS in the game. She still is. I said that on a release, and I'm still saying it now. She's my favorite. I think she's a fantastic character, a fantastic damage dealer. I mean, she's a specialist, but she's a damage dealer, guys. And she's like, I don't know, she's just so fun. She's constantly breaking the enemy. She's going again and again and again. I got her E2, so she's really just going again and again and again. She's fantastic. She's a step above the rest, on par with Acheron, outdoes Acheron in certain situations, and it's just fantastic, Not really much to argue against that. I feel like most people can agree that Firefly is just outrageous, Then we got Kafka and Black Swan. and Boot Hill. I actually completely agree with this placement. Kafka and Black Swan together are just a powerhouse, but they don't compete with Acheron or Firefly, you know. They're on par with the follow-up team. Boot Hill is an underestimated unit, I feel, very underestimated, because he puts up numbers. He's a single target beast. It's just that when he came, that's when Wu-Wa came on and everything like that. So a lot of people overlooked him. So they kind of discard him and they didn't really get that moment of clarity when they see his performance. But his performance is up there. He is where he belongs, right up there. He's extremely strong. I have him at E0 and he just wipes the floor with stuff. If it's a single target, they're done for. They are done for. You bet whoever is facing Boot Hill better hope they're not the only enemy on the field. They better hope to God, you know? So yeah, he's where he belongs right there. Then we got March. I can't talk about March. I've never used her. I have not used March at all. I don't know much about her. From what I've seen, because I know what she does, and what I've seen, I say that she seems pretty good, you know? The fact that she's tier 1, I'm just gonna have to go on their word on that. And I would like to use her myself, but the chances of me building her is rather slim unless she's an actual upgrade for something. It's nice that we have a completely free 4-star that is performing well, like Harmony Trailblazer. So you love to see it, you love to see it. Now Topaz. I think Topaz is going to be moving up very soon, right? Topaz, when she first came out, I called her a future-proof unit. I made a video on that actually, where I called her a future-proof unit, right? She came out, she was somewhat mid, or, you know, at least that's what people were saying. I mean, mainly because some people were trying to use her as a hyper carry a lot of the time, and we didn't have a lot of follow-up characters to really use her with. Dr. Ratio wasn't here yet, you know? That was kind of the idea with that, but now that we have so much follow-up, and they're all kind of synergizing with Topaz, except for like Jade, unless she's E1. You know, they're all kind of synergizing with Topaz. Her value is skyrocketing, right? And the fact that she's in tier 1, I think is an understatement. But I do think in the near future, the more follow-up characters that come, she's gonna get that Kafka effect where that new follow-up character comes, she's right up there. I think she should be in 0.5 if Ratio's in 0.5. That's just my opinion. I think that it's going to become very apparent soon that Topaz deserves her flowers, all right? Like I was saying before, I kind of wish I got her E1. Topaz is a character that like I've gotten more little by little. Like I got her E0, S0 when she first came out. She did a pretty decent job that. Then I got her S1 on her next banner, and then to come next banner, I'm gonna try and go for E1. You know, she just comes at inopportune times. But her at E1, S1 is a very worthwhile investment, right? I mean, maybe they're putting her in tier 1 because they're not counting her light cone. They're counting her as E0, S0, I guess. Which, okay, it's understandable if they don't count her light cone. I think that's the rule that they do have, actually, where they don't count signature light cones. And that's a shame. But I think very soon, even without her light cone, she's going to be 0.5 tier. I just do think that. So, but let's move on because this is starting to turn into a Topaz video. Then we got Gwenfin. Oh, what is this? We got Gwenfin finally moving up above Sampo. They for the longest time, Gwenfin, I've been saying time and time again, I was like, hey, Gwenfin belongs higher up. Gwenfin belongs higher up. Gwenfin belongs higher up. You know, she belongs with Sampo and Luca, and now they have her above Sampo and Luca's still here. I wonder why they put Sampo down though. You know what? I'm curious. Let's see what they say. So Gwenfin, she's consistent use in MOC as part of the both debuff and dot archetypes. Appearing in Acheron, Kafka, Black Swan teams. It's clear to us she is the favorite 4-star dot character with the choice of Sampo for this reason. We're moving her up to where Sampo was placed before. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of what I've been saying this whole time. You know, that's kind of what I've been saying this whole time. That Gwenfin is just she's useful. Like I have all kinds of options, but there's times where I've thrown her in. You know, she's built on my account. That it is what it is. I'm sorry, Sampo, but once Black Swan came, it was over for you, man. I'm sorry, bro. You know, maybe you'll get a 5-star version later. You know, let's hope. So that's that with you. But let's move on over to the amplifiers, right? I don't really see too many changes. Oh wait, I do see one, and we'll talk about that. So we got Ron May up at the top of amplifiers, as she should be, you know. As I discussed in previous videos, she was on par with these two right here, but that was because she didn't have her niche. Now that she has her niche, she's a step above the rest. It is what it is. She is a hot commodity. And the different teams that I have on my account, because I have, you know, all the different team presets and stuff like that, and other team presets, she finds herself on the most teams. She is the most useful, and then the teams that she's not in, she fits on anyway. It's just that if you don't have Robin or something like that in a follow-up team, she can go in there, even though Robin is better. You know, same thing with Sparkle teams, you know. She is a fantastic unit, you know, very flexible. So she belongs right here. That is her rightful place. Robin is fantastic, and I feel her value is only rising. I don't think she's ever gonna reach Ron May level, but her, like both of these guys, Sparkle and Robin, like the more characters we get, the more useful that they get. Because in this Sealy video that I made, Sparkle plays a very big role in that video. Sealy wouldn't have the performance that she has in that situation if it wasn't for Sparkle, right? And that same goes for Robin. You're not gonna get Dr. Ratio's performance that he's been getting without one of these two, without Sparkle or Robin, you know? It is what it is, you know? So these guys are just phenomenal. And then Harmony Trailblazer. Oof. It just feels so good to have the free main character be such an apex unit. It just feels so good because they're an essential part of the strongest team in the game. They're an essential part of the strongest team in the game, which is the Firefly team, right? And there isn't much of a sign of them getting power crafted. I don't think they should power creep. And if they do, that character will be the most unnecessary character that there is, because we have a free unit that does perfectly fine. So Harmony Trailblazer is fantastic. Harmony Trailblazer is right where they belong, and it's just like the simple, not because of their performance, but the simple fact that they're free makes me want to move them up to tier 0, you know, because I just want to hold them up and say thank God, you know. But they are where they belong in terms of like their performance. But then we got this right here, Silver Wolf. Now listen, guys, I've said it a couple times. Say, yo, Silver Wolf's about to jump up. Silver Wolf's about to jump up. But they wasn't listening. They weren't listening to me at all. Silver Wolf is a great unit, right? People have been saying like, oh, Silver Wolf fell off, Silver Wolf this, Silver Wolf that, blah, blah, blah. Now, she isn't the most broken, cracked unit that she used to be when she first came out, but she still does a lot. I feel like people don't fully realize what Silver Wolf does. She's planting a whole bunch of debuffs, which to some characters might be a benefit, like Dr. Ratio and Acheron. She's shredding defense a whole lot. But what people seem to forget too is that when she changes elements, or when she plants an element on on an enemy, she's also reducing their resistance. So someone like Boot Hill is going to hit the hardest with a Silver Wolf on the team. Now, mind you, a lot of times the clear time might be faster with a Bronya because Bronya is helping them hit more often. But in certain situations, like let's say if the weakness types line up, I might just use Silver Wolf instead in that situation, right? And then there's Acheron teams, which is an obvious thing there. Like, she works with a lot of these apex damage dealers, you know? She works with Acheron, she works with Ratio, she works with Boot Hill. I don't care for her on the dot teams, and she doesn't really have a place on the Firefly team. But like, that's over half of the apex damage dealers that she's working with. well, you know, and like, yeah, she's a phenomenal unit, you know. She is quite a fantastic unit, and I think she is where she belongs. Why do they say that she belongs? She got bumped up. I wonder if they're agreeing with me here. So has seen consistent high usage and strong performance through Penacony, and sees use as an option in two of the strongest teams in the game. Doctor Ratio teams and Acheron. They listen, you're gonna think that I read this before. You're gonna think I read it before. I didn't. You know, it's simple. And just proof that I was saying this before is that in previous videos I kept saying Silverwolf's gonna move up, Silverwolf's gonna move up, Silverwolf's gonna move up. It is what it is. But everybody else is the same. You know, Bronya has improved, I believe, since she worked so well with Boot Hill. I guess it's not enough to upgrade her, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do think she's on par with Pella, because I do think Pella's a little underappreciated too, because how well she works with Acheron, and how she's like a lot of people's second best option who don't have the key best character in a lot of other teams, you know. But I do agree that Bronya and Pella are on, you know, the same level. So, you know, I guess I'll accept that at that same level is 1.5. I mean, yeah, and Ting Yun is better because her synergy with Yunli is fantastic, you know, and she has synergy with a lot of characters, so until she gets power crept, we'll see. Asta moving up. I mean, I haven't used Asta in a while, but like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I haven't seen a difference in what Asta can do now and then, but hey, you know, like, good for her. Good stuff. Good job, Asta. I don't have much to say about it. And then the sustains are all the same. Oh, Link's moved up. What the hell? I guess Link's moved up because of Yunli, I guess. But I mean, it's all the same, you know. Aventurine has been performing fantastically. We've talked at length of what Gallagher can do now, and he's where he belongs. Yeah, everything seems about right. Link's moving up. Hey, you know, do what you want to do. I don't know if I agree with that. You know, I think Japard is a better sustainer than Link's, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the few things that I might kind of disagree with. Another look at the meta. Fantastic. You love to see it, you know? Yeah, I do think they did a pretty good job with this here. It's a shame that Jade is just, you know, just not performing well. I just really wish that she could have performed well in like Memory of Chaos situations, because she's fantastic in Pure Fiction, you know. She's fantastic in Pure Fiction, but not a lot of people need help in Pure Fiction. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is, I guess. But what do you guys think? Give me your guys' feedback. What do you guys think of the placements of these characters on the tier list? What do you guys think of Yunli? How do you think she's performing? And what do you think of my takes? Do you think I got some hot takes, or do you think I'm on to something, if I'm cooking, you know, as the kids say, if I'm cooking? So let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you like the content I'm giving you, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. I'm Zion to here. Legend out.